allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I see Chief Cooper walk through the door. All right, welcome everybody to our town council meeting of July 13. Post rendezvous, post 4th of July. Whew. All right, first item on the agenda is going to be accepting Dean Loftus to attend when Dean Loftus is back in. Here he is.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that Councilman Loftus may participate online.
Okay. Second. Moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilwoman Boyce to approve Councilman Loftus to attend electronically. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome, Councilman.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
amendment thereof.
I have moved that we amend the agenda, adding an F9 for a Stoll temporary use permit, as well as deleting, I guess, the need for an executive session. Correct.
Second. Been moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilwoman Boyce to approve the amended agenda by adding F9, Stoll temporary use, and deleting the executive session for real estate. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0 now. I was glad to see our official language is English now. Abe.
Is that what that
goes? No. What was it prior to that? But anyhow.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, next item are the minutes from June 22nd.
Okay, I have a potential amendment in the list of the bills. We have Pinedale Babe Ruth listed for 2,000. Is that?
That is accurate. That's a different organization.
A different thing. Okay.
And that was one that went to travel and tourism and got approved through
Gotcha.
the travel and tourism process.
Okay, then I move to approve the minutes of the June 22, 2026 regular town council meeting.
Second. Moved by Councilwoman Boyce, second by Councilman Swafford to approve the minutes of June 22nd, 2026 regular town council meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? That motion carries 4-0. Next item, citizen or council concerns. Are there any citizen concerns? Great. Any council concerns?
Mr. Mayor, I had one.
Yes, sir.
I had one and I spoke with Abe about it, so he's working on it.
Okay, you gonna tell us what it is?
Just lets you know if you had a
Yeah.
concern. You had a concern.
I will. My concern is that the sod in Councilwoman Boyce's yard and the Brown's yard and my yard does not look like the 210 Pine Street sod. And so I told Mr. Pierce I'd like to see that replaced sooner than later. So.
And what did Mr. Pierce say to you?
What's that?
And what did Mr. Pierce say to you?
He said he would be working on it to see what could be done.
The old, I'll get back to
I was gonna say the old two-step then. Okay. All right. Well, we are expecting a lot of the sod in 210 to have to be replaced. It seemed to be doing better than I thought it was going to. So
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
we could just take the old sod from 210 and put it in Councilman yard.
Not very often we have sod as lush as wind down to 210. You got that rainstorm in Idaho.
Yeah, that worked for us.
Mr. Mayor and Council, we did meet with the engineer on shower water main project. I just got his email today, and there's about a dozen items on there that he's coordinating the contract. Deal with primarily settling, so many of the places where the sod is struggling, there's bigger issues of settling underneath that need to be taken care of. So the contractor is going to report back on what they plan to do, and then I'll report back.
Any other citizen concerns or council concerns? I thought rendezvous went well. I mean, we had a couple we had a couple of our first responders had one or two very interesting responses that they had to go to. I learned so sad, but in general, the town was full. All right, hearing no more, we'll go to visiting delegations. Chief Cooper, you're up first.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council and staff, thanks for your time on the agenda tonight. Let me start by introducing our new Deputy Chief, Mark Bednar. Mark comes to us from a retired career in Salt Lake City Fire Department. After retiring, moved to base in Wyoming. He's been up there and has served as a volunteer firefighter for the last 4 or 5 years. Has a great experience and that calculus is necessary to provide staffing. He's been with us for nearly a month now, let's say. Maybe 3 weeks, somewhere close to that, but he's been a tremendous asset, and moving the ball forward, continue to improve our level of service for Solar County Unified Fires. Let me have to say hello, and I'll pick up the rest of the agenda.
Okay, hello, I'm Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Just a fine introduction, but excited to be here. And my wife has actually been working down here with the ambulance for a couple of years.
Okay.
So we've been very interested and drawn to the area, and this opportunity came open. Good chance to make that transition.
Great. Well, welcome to Pinedale.
Yeah.
All right, Chief.
Well, with that, so just there for a 6-month review. I come more often to meeting, you come more often with active discretion. I'm happy to keep it at 6-month review with you. My understanding is the contract for services has been signed, everything filed. That was done in March of 26. So the contract for services for Unified Fire Protection is on the books, and no question concerns there.
Fantastic. Do you have a question?
I guess I'm. Yes. Thank
Give me a
you.
business card, I'll email it.
Great.
Yeah, we sometimes will sign those things and they don't come back from the other side of the street. So.
Really understood. Just so you guys are aware, I'm no longer driving the ship on any contracts or agreements. It's all through the county attorney's office, and that's
Great, thank you.
Ed, you're here to talk to me.
That's one I'll say on my list.
Thanks.
all right. So back to the agenda. So one thing I just kind of want to give a status update of some of the projects I've been working on for the last 6 months. Some of them are specific to the town of Pinedale. Most of them are just countywide initiatives. First thing I wanted to hit on is that we've been working super hard. As you may remember, we hired Josie Villette. She's our new wildland urban interface coordinator, and she absolutely hit the ground running. And I've got nothing but amazing things to say about the work and output that she's producing on a daily and weekly basis. And since she's been here, she's absolutely moved the mark to improve public safety and stuff. Reduce the risk, frequency, severity of wildland fires, and try to work with homeowners to mitigate the risk of their own homes and properties. She's done numerous community events and hazard speed reduction days, and attained. I think right now she's 5 for 5 with grant applications to provide assistance to homeowners and help pay for hazard speed reduction. On the to-do list, though, is I do want to address the town of Pinedale, specifically the call it the green belt along the Pine Creek area, and maybe we can start working long term to address some of the hazard fuels that accumulate in the cottonwoods and different species that are available to burn in drought conditions that we probably need to take a hard look at in case of a wind-driven day where conflagration could occur. So I've asked her to put that on the radar and take steps to work with the town and start trying to come up with a long-term solution to reduce that hazardous fuel.
You're a brave man.
It's a lot.
No, I was just thinking, as soon as we get into fallen trees and stuff on the Pine Creek corridor, the next thing you know is I'm going to have a discussion with people who are concerned about wildlife and everything in there. Yeah, well, it'd be an interesting conversation. I look forward to it.
All right. Along that agenda item, one of the first things I tasked Josie was to create a countywide evacuation plan, and we had she's put an inordinate amount of effort into it. One of the things she's done is she's created these predefined polygons in our GIS server that anytime a firefighter in the field sees a need to evacuate a subdivision, we can click on that area, that polygon, and what it is it's a geographic area that predefines, let's say, the larger subdivision or one of the high-risk subdivisions in town. And that information goes to dispatch, and dispatch has it at their fingertips. They know exactly what the firefighter wants to evacuate, and then we can send out public notifications. There's a lot more to it than that. We did do a tabletop. It was a 2-day exercise. Solicited a tremendous amount of feedback from members of your staff and surrounding community members, and we finalized that countywide evacuation plans now on our website. And I'm very, very proud to see the work that went into that and preparation. It leads us towards and reduce the risk of catastrophic fires and stuff. So kudos to Josie and the rest of the team for putting that together. Real quickly, one of the things we did was we replaced our entire inventory of wall-end fire shelters for all firefighters. There's a substantial amount of cost for that. They want about $700 per shelter. Actually, our administrative assistant did a tremendous job of obtaining numerous grants to pay for that. So that was an unbudgeted impact that we didn't see coming, but there was national guidance from the National Wildland Coordinating Group that said if you had any shelters before an existing date that we needed to immediately take them out of service and replace them with new shelters. We've done that in an effort to improve safety and security for our wildland firefighters. If you're not familiar, the shelter is the last ditch effort that a firefighter has in case of a burnover to hopefully crawl into that and have some level of protection between them and the oncoming onslaught of the wildland fire. So it's just a safety and security measure, but it's really the absolute. I mean, it's choice between that or burn over. So it's certainly not it's not a choice of mitigation that we rely on, but it's something we use our last opportunity for salvation. And it's been deployed numerous times across the United States already this year. The other thing I want to put on the radar is we just completed the Recruit Academy number 12. It's our 12th successful Recruit Academy. This year we're graduating 14 brand new firefighters, many of which are in Pinedale. Our graduation ceremony is next Monday night, July 20th at 6 p.m. at station number 5 in Dane. I encourage all members of the council, all members of the public to please feel free to attend, celebrate the significant accomplishment of our volunteer firefighters and completing that Recruit Academy and becoming full-fledged firefighters. Just moving on. We strengthened our annual operating plan, mutual plans, and interagency coordination with surrounding county and state and federal partners. That's an annual requirement. So we put significant effort into that this year to try to prepare for the oncoming expected wildland fire this year and change some substantial language. I'm really excited to see that. Better coordination and closer cooperation with our state and federal partners and our surrounding counties. Continuing to promote our community risk reduction efforts, including free smoke detector programs for all county residences, many of which I've taken advantage of in Pinedale specifically, but it's available countywide, and a lot of folks have taken advantage of that program. And then right now, with the completion of our Recruit Academy number 12, we are immediately beginning the next Recruit Academy. So right now, we're shifting our focus on our social media to encourage residents of Sutherland County to consider joining the volunteer fire department. And if you take a look at our social media presence, you'll see corresponding media input there trying to address that need. And our hope is to add 20 new firefighters by this time next year. That is all I have for my report. If you are curious, I'm happy to talk about a number of incidents, fire-related incidents in mind. It might be, but it might be a question coming my way. So far, the first 6 months of 2026, we've had 34 total incidents. In Pinedale alone. I'm not talking about the rest of the county. In Pinedale alone, 34 total incidents, 3 in January, 3 in February, 7 in March, 7 in April, 3 in May, and then so far 11. There was 11 in June, and it's been a busy July already. But it's been for 6 months. So that's actually in line with previous year. We're not seeing significant problem there.
Yeah, that was going to be my one question. Just how your annual volunteer hours and the number of fires year on year look like that. So
I would call it on par. It's pretty low mark, of course, for an average at this time of the year. So
I guess that's good. Okay. That's it.
Any questions?
Any questions?
No.
Councilman? Online? Okay.
I would just point out, I haven't touched base with Chief Cooper, but we were successful in getting that grant for suppression. So come with the project. I won't put a date on it. We'll just say.
November, we all done.
Of the project, you will have 79,000 gallons of water at your disposal. Maybe 1,500 gallon permit. So. Thank you so much to the mayor, members of the council and staff for supporting that effort. That absolutely is a game changer for improving public safety. A fire department isn't very good at our job if we don't have water to put out fire. And this will improve safety for not only the airport but also the communities and larger and nearby. Reduce our load return and have some availability year round and full access to water and everything.
Yeah, we were excited about it, and I think the thing is we were reduced from 750 to 350 or 375, and then they kind of said none. And thankfully, the governor and staff found additional funds, and so they kind of agreed to do it. And then he came up with a pronghorn migration, and we happened to have 3 helicopters on the runway. And I'm like, "Did you notice the helicopters there?" And he's like, "Yes, okay." So then, the next week we got the full-on amount, so that was fantastic. So we're grateful to the state for partnering with us on that. So that whole project is good. Yeah, I agree, and we'll see what we can do some more later on. So, well, thank you, Chief. We really appreciate you and the service of your volunteers, and welcome, Mark, to Pinedale. And obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to approach us anytime. All right. Yeah, feel free to go. Sit in the AC all day. All right, the next item on the agenda is our contract for service presentations. We generally allocate about 2-3%. I always forget what the percentage is. 3% of our revenue, non-intergovernmental revenue, and not including scholarships. This year, I think the amount is somewhere in the neighborhood of $65,857. So we have budgeted for this. I will point out, and a bunch of you are sitting in the room. I'm a little concerned that we had several who didn't actually fully complete everything on time, which kind of breaks my heart because I am going to have a concern about improving some of those. We have to have rules. We have to have application guidelines. My personal opinion is the federal government never comes walking to my door saying, "Hey, don't forget to apply." So Becky. So anyhow, this is obviously a council decision, but I will point that out, and we'll ask a couple of questions as we go through the presentation. So anyhow, I just wanted to be a grump up front so I can celebrate everything you're doing for the rest of the meeting. But it is hard. We have limited funds. Obviously, if the 5th plan gets approved by the county, then that'll be additional revenue that comes our way. So maybe next year we can budget more, but this year we're at about 65. So I'm going to just go in order that I actually have it in my document. I'm not certain the names in the list are in the same order as the pages we have there. So Becky, we'll let you go ahead at the Children's Learning Center.
Okay. So, well, thank you for your support over all the years. I apologize for missing the deadline. I was out of the office due to an unexpected death in our family, and so I take full responsibility. I did miss it, and so apologies for that. So we did have a really good year this year at Children's Learning Center. We had 44 children that we served in the Pinedale area. 24 of those are in preschool. And you have this letter, correct?
Yes.
In the budget sheet. Okay. 24 of those are in preschool, and then 20 of those were outside of our preschool that we see either at homes or at other facilities. So that is a great amount. We love to see those numbers. Of those 44 total children, 15 of them reside within Pinedale. So we're looking at about a third. So we definitely appreciate your support. It's crucial, especially with these current times. But we did have some really exciting progress with the state this year with our funding model. And thank you for your support on that. I know some of you had the opportunity to support that and speak out. So thank you for doing that. It did increase slightly to a little over $12,000 per child. We were at $10,300 per child. So it's a step. It doesn't cover all of it. We estimate it costs between $16,000 and $17,000. Excuse me, $16,000 and $17,000 to work with children with special needs from the birth through age 5 population. But that is huge progress. And so we were very excited about that after 10 years of no increased support from the state. So the child development centers all work together to make that happen. So we are asking for a slight increase this year. Just a touch, just as cost of services just continue to rise. And we are applying again for the grants that will provide free preschool to families. That is based on income guidelines. So we offered 14 of those to our county. So last year we were able to offer 8 of those in Pinedale and 6 in Pinedale. So, which is a huge blessing to parents that are tight on one income family outfit. So, can I answer any questions?
Council? I see in our document that you received 127,000 from the county.
Pardon?
Did you? I see in our council and our packet that you received $127,000 from the county.
Yes, that's a request.
Okay.
Yes,
That's a request.
that's a request.
Yeah.
I have to verify that that has indeed been approved, voted on, and approved. But it was in the preliminary budget, in fact.
Okay.
So we did a different approach with the county this year after a lot of
Learning.
yes. The previous years, we did a separate request for the Pinedale school and then a separate request for the Big Piney school. And the Big Piney school down there is a little less for us to operate. Although as a worker child, it's the way that the budget works. And so we're very hopeful to get that from the county. They've been supportive. They also signed a letter with the state showing their support for our program. But just cost of just salaries and everything just goes up. And if we're going to continue to be successful in this model that we're operating in, then it's critical to have council support and commissioner support and local support, fundraising, all the things. So we had a great fundraiser this year. We did the bowling for kids again.
That's awesome.
And we did make the most we've ever made with that. So right off the top of my head, it was a little over 24,000, which is just awesome from local businesses and families and sponsoring and giving the kids. So
that's awesome. And then you're not using any county facilities, correct?
we're not.
Yeah.
We here in Pinedale, we own the building.
Great.
Yeah, so we are not using the counties.
And then, I'm sorry, is it in here projections for next year?
Go ahead.
No, yeah. Projections for next year in here, or is it going to be probably the same number as last year?
As far as
Attendees, the kids and stuff.
it's looking a little up this year.
Okay, that's what I'm hearing, like all the Suffolk County Resource Network, and I'm like hearing that there's some, that's why.
So we're really pleased to see that. There was kind of a bubble, I think, in the 3 and 4-year-olds. It was down slightly, and it sounds like the other programs were as well.
Right.
And now we have some more interest. So we'll see.
That's good.
So what happens. See what happens. And we definitely are keeping consistent. Things fluctuate with just a few numbers, but we're happy to see that. So.
Okay. And so your total ask is 8,000, correct?
I believe we are asking for 9.
Sorry.
Yes, last year was.
I got to go back and forth between 2 documents.
Yeah.
It's not like the chart.
Yeah, because the chart says 8. That's correct. Right. All right. No other questions? All right. Thank you.
Yes.
With all that you do.
Thank you. Thank you for all your support.
No, it's incredibly important, as many of us know and say. So I'm glad you got more money out of the state. So
Yes.
shockingly this year.
We'll keep our fingers crossed that. So.
Oh, you got a year long. It's in the budget.
Yeah. So.
Good to go. All
Thank you
right.
so much.
Thank you. All right. Next up is, I believe, my separate video. Rhonda, sorry. I'm literally going back and forth between you. Just come on up.
Mayor, Council, thank you for having me here. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself as the new Executive Director of Good Point.
Congratulations.
Brand new as of March, I guess, yeah. I'm here with our Chairman of our Board of Trustees, which is it. But I may be new to Rendezvous Point and still trying to figure out some of the quirks and grants and everything, but we continue to strive to improve the lives of seniors, and we continue to serve our exceedingly growing senior population here in Pinedale with transportation needs, homemaking services, caregiver support services, health and wellness programs, and our nutritional lunches, of course. And like many other agencies here, I'm sure we've had some grant funding shortfalls this year where we usually got a set amount of funding. They've cut back, so we've had some shortfalls, but nevertheless, we do continue to strive to improve the lives of our seniors and are actively pursuing other grants and donations and fundraising efforts as well. But so partially why this year we're requesting just a smidge more. And I think last year we ended up with 18.
I think
this year we requested 20.
Yeah, to be very clear, Rendezvous Point generally requests 20 for the exact reason that you have in your letter, 5 and 15. It's been consistent for about as long as I've been on council.
Yeah. We had to make cuts.
Our state in-kind match for our state funding for transportation services, which is required. And then 5 goes to help out with our Miami home services, and then the other 5 goes to help out with our activities program,
right?
Which is pretty popular, I found. The chair yoga, it's a crowded room.
Cherry yoga. I heard cherry yoga.
Crowded room.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a light upstairs.
That didn't make sense. See how I got myself around. All right. Excellent. Any questions? I'm going to ask the same questions that I'm going to ask of everybody. Are you're budgeted for 210,000 from the county? I'm assuming that.
That stayed the same for it looks like several years.
Yeah, it's an odd number.
$210, $150.
Gotta get that 150 in there.
Yeah. Counts. Every dollar counts.
That's right. And then are you using any county facilities for your?
Yes, that's our main facility. Is the county.
Right.
It's county owned.
Yeah. All right. I don't have any other questions. Councilman Loftus, any questions on your side?
No, sir.
I do know that we really appreciate the service provided.
And we greatly appreciate the continued funding from the town as well.
I think, one of the things that we always talk about is I love how we're protecting both spectrums of the population here.
Kids and older.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Amber and Pat, like right there.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't miss you. I think that, but anyhow. All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
All right. Next up is Special Olympics.
I'm Megan White. I'm a parent first, but as a Special Olympic athlete. Miss Amber was not able to make it, so she asked me to step in. We are asking for donations to help our program grow. Miss Amber came back to the community about 3 years ago, and ever since she's been actively trying to grow it. Right now we have 9 active athletes, and we participate in cycling, bocce, swimming, basketball, snowshoeing, cross country, and we're hoping alpine skiing next year. We are having some kids that have interest in that. We do not have any uniforms for these kids, and we used to, but she gave the program to somebody else and the uniforms were lost. And one special thing is about the athletes do not get to keep the uniforms, so they will always stay with the program. So we are looking at adding snow pants and coats and everything, especially for the athletes who aren't as fortunate to be able to buy any for them to help participate in these events. We do not get any help from the school in transportation or financially. Gail volunteers her time, and anytime she has to leave for any of the events, she has to take non-paid leave. And that goes with all the coaches too. So we are hoping to help build up our thing so that it helps them too, if they're all volunteering. We have to register for each event, and we travel to Rock Springs, Casper, Gillette, and Jackson for state and fall games and area games. Let me see where she's. This contribution will help grow our kids' physical and emotional stability going down the road. The joy that these kids have whenever they participate in this and actually feel like they are doing it themselves is amazing. And as a parent, you couldn't ask for any better. We are just hoping that the community can help pitch in. We do fundraise, but it's not quite enough to get us where we need to be. So.
Yeah. I'll jump in. I know you're not using any county facilities.
Mm-hmm.
You're not receiving any money from the county or don't. So I love Special Olympics. Gail and I have been friends for years, and I think what it does is, and Mesa is kind of the same camp, right? It just building into confidence and everything into these kids' lives. Contractor services for the town of Pinedale cannot really necessarily be for an event.
Okay.
So if you're wanting to use the $5,000 or any part of it for an event, I would let me put it this way. If you're hosting an event here, then travel and tourism would be your best bet, because that would be a great way for us to promote that and put more heads in beds. Mm-hmm. There's an opportunity still to get those applications and grants in, buying uniforms or helping on certain things for the operation of your organization, or where the contractor services come in, just to be very clear. And I mention this only because, and Maureen always reminds me, and Ed always as well, more and more, just so everybody in the room knows, contractor services are coming under a magnifying glass by the legislature. There's legislation that we defeated last year. Those things are going on, quite honestly. Sheridan and I had a long conversation. I mention this now only because I want to make certain that when we do fund this, I am on the side of right, and I don't want to do something and then later on I find myself having to back up and do something, got my hand stuck in a cookie jar. Mm-hmm. So, and I think for so far, everything I've heard so far, it's very clear that yours, I think a part of it is for an event and part of it is for the operations. Comfortable looking at the operations side?
It's mainly just the operations right now.
So you would have to demonstrate that to us very clearly.
Yeah. And I think
No, go ahead.
I think she sent you guys a breakdown, hopefully, of what it would all be used for.
Yeah, it's a little confusing, to be honest. Yeah, it's just total for the team, 2,000, snowshoes, etc. Mm-hmm. A hotel for nights. Now she's asking us to help pay for summer state basketball and track and field. That's kind of going to some other area. I don't know if I can contribute to that.
Okay. So she just needs to send you more specific.
I know, for example, and when we support Rendezvous Point, or we support Mesa, or we're supporting, some of the other applications, some of the employees are being covered and the overall broad use of money. So I wouldn't want you to call out Gail's missing 4 days and therefore we're reimbursing her for that.
Okay.
like to CPI. No, to make it very clear. So I want to be clear that we would love to help you, and I have to help you in the way that I'm very clearly legally allowed to help you. And where we can help you on other events, like an event that you're sponsoring in Pinedale, we can kick that to another room that Councilman Swasford sits on and try to help you on that side. So if you're buying equipment, golf clubs, or uniforms, so that kids today and tomorrow and the next day can use those uniforms, I think that falls within where we're at. So I think if what you could do for me by the next time we get together, or maybe before our next council meeting, when we'll make an allocation of these funds, and you could break that out. And again, if you don't come to the full 5,000 and you come to 2,500, let's just say, fine, make a $2,500 request here, and then let's put another request in travel and tourism for the event that you want to sponsor. I'm fully on board. I think what you guys do is awesome, and quite honestly, 5,000 is cheap for what the bang that you're getting out of the buck.
Yeah.
But I gotta be on the right side of this, because otherwise I will be tested. I will be called on the floor and the Capitol line. I don't like being called on the floor for something that I'm wrong. Go ahead.
There's a few other things on that list that would.
Right. So I would get with Maureen, have you or Gail get with Maureen. And it's very, and we'll show you where you can qualify, where you can't qualify. And then because I think from our perspective, this is contributing to the quality of life at Pinedale. It's taking care of the population that we really want to take care of. But again, my hands are a bit tied.
Yeah, I understand. I will have Gail get in contact with you. I'm just moving here.
Yeah, done. You did a great job presenting.
Yeah.
Well done.
And I'll have her contact you.
Nobody makes a better advocate than a mother who wants her child to be involved. Well done. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right. All right. Next group is going to be Mesa. How's it going, Carla?
Really fun summer so far. Here's just some kind of an update. Thank you. Pass that down. We're feeling next summer. Mayor Murdoch, Town Council, staff, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate the support that you have given us over the years. We are tracking on like we pretty much always have. We have 14 kids in our program, 6 of those are Pinedale kids. But we have 18 total in the county this year. No, I'm sorry, 18. We will have 18. We have 14 right now. Currently, we have 4 that are going to come back in the fall. Some of our kids have summer activities and are doing things and then come back when school starts. So we're looking forward to that. So our numbers are pretty much the same as they've been in the past. It's been a great year. We've been riding out at Denny Schroeder's again. We were able to convince Mr. Manning to let us take the electric fence off a little bit of pasture so we can actually have a little bit of pasture for our horses there too, so we can keep them. So that's really nice. It's a wonderful place to be. We are still looking for a permanent home of our own. We thought we had that in the books earlier this spring, but that fell apart. The negotiations fell apart for that. So we still are hopeful that the county will work with us and we can find a place where we can land and we can be able to have our lessons and our horses at the same spot. Until then, we're just kind of maintaining our horse numbers, which means we have to maintain our enrollment numbers. We just can't grow until we have the facility to be able to have more horses in our program. But we have wonderful horses in our program. We have wonderful volunteers. We have 40 volunteers, which have been wonderful assets to our program. So far, we've had 7 weeks of spring lessons. We are halfway through our summer session. It's going to be 6 weeks. We have 5 weeks of fall lessons planned. We had our Mesa Golf Tournament at the end of June. It was cold and rainy and everybody were troopers. It was wonderful. It still ended up being a really successful tournament. And that is by far our biggest fundraiser. And we raised a little over $30,000 when we do that event. We were in the Rendezvous Parade again this year. Same flow, but we still have fun. The things that we still have coming up, we have a summer picnic in August that Mr. Schroeder's going to host. In August, we take a break from regular traditional riding lessons and we do August trail rides. Riders that are physically able to do a trail ride with us that can make an hour, can be in the saddle for an hour or so and can ride a little more independently. And then we have August day camps where we will have ball painted ponies, a water day with braiding, lots of kind of fun little things like that, tackling. And then we culminate our year with the Mesa Horse Show, October 3rd. We invite everybody to come to. That's where the kids can showcase their talents. And that is kind of the highlight of what we do in our Christmas party. We have changed our name. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but we've gone from industry standards from therapeutic riding. We are now Equine Assisted Services, which is.
I like it better.
Yes, I mean, and we aren't doing just adaptive riding now. We've expanded our program to include equine assisted learning, or EAL is what you will hear that's called. And that is unmounted programming that has a curriculum that is for self-development and life skill development. And that is actually open to not only children, but to adults as well, and to organizations and boards. And it's kind of a really cool leadership program that we can offer. And we have one little gal in our program that's been with us for about 10 years. And tomorrow she's going in to get her second hip replaced. She had the first one done 6 weeks ago. And so she is not able to ride right now, but she's able to do the EAL at home and get a tremendous amount out of it. But I don't think she realized how much she got learned from a horse back in the south. So those are kind of the fun things that we have going, and we truly appreciate everything that you do for us. We do give a nominal, well, we ask a little bit for report funding to provide for our helmets, our equipment, but other than that, we don't get it. So we appreciate everything down to donations, down fundraising, contract services. Guys, any questions?
I get worried when your kids don't know how to sit on the horses correctly backwards.
That is all around the world. And they think it's the coolest thing ever.
One amendment I would actually ask you to do on the statement of activity.
Okay.
You have gross profit in there. I don't like the word profit in it. I mean,
okay.
I don't know what the right word would be there, but it kind of jumps out and can be more sensitive than maybe I ought to be. But
is that the organizational?
It's not your statement of activity. It's under gross profit of $104,000. Should just be pretty positive. It's not really profit, but
no,
it seems to be revenue. Yeah. So just FYI.
I can do that.
Yeah. You need to put that. Sorry.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I have a shout out to Mesa. I just wanted to thank Carla for her work. Anna Grace Highbore, her parents work for Red Cliff Bible Camp. And so we're down some staff members this week because Anna Grace is in Salt Lake for surgery tomorrow. But also one of the students that she has helped over the years, we hired this summer and he's working for us. And so great work. Thank you.
Yeah, really like it. We have several people that we know attend your project. It's fantastic. I don't have any other questions because I know you're not really using county facilities and you're not getting much money from the county. So, Councilwoman. Thank you, Carla.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
All right, next up. I think is it going to be
It's me.
It's you.
All right, Mr. Mayor and Town Council, thank you guys for your continued support over the years. I also missed the deadline and I have zero reason except for I don't have a newspaper. On a regular basis. And I know it comes up end of April, mid-May sometimes, and it was mid-May and I reached out and I missed the deadline. I was panicking. So thank you for considering the request also.
Yep.
Some highlights about PAC for the year. Last year, we had about 220 town resident kids in our programs between summer camp, Friday, middle school programs, and our junior wrangler sports programs. On average, we see about 40% of all of our programs are town resident attendees. We have 50 to 60 kids every day after school coming in to PAC on their own, checking in. Daily admission continues to be the most popular way that people come in with. Looking ahead for next year, we do plan to continue the Friday program. The need was not what was anticipated. We averaged about 11 kids each Friday. And but there were also 4 programs that we know of that were running Friday programs. OCs has officially stopped their program for next year and have referred anyone that was in their program over to us. And I know Camp Grow is making some adjustments next year as well. So we have committed to continuing that program for the next school year, and we'll see what that demand's like. Looking at our summer numbers, for the last several years, we've always combined our 2 camps into one on Friday and have a 20 capacity on that. We'll have 15 to 16 registered and 8 are showing up. So the demand on Fridays has been very low through the summer.
Where do you think you're going?
I don't know.
I was joking.
Don't make me say it.
We'll see how that trends into school year and see what that demand kind of looks like. We're really excited to add new sometime this next school year. Friends of PAC received a grant through the Bill Simpson Foundation for the implementation of an adaptive climbing program. So we will be working with the school district, staff that serve kids, and a couple of individuals who do some therapy specific with kids with some special needs. And we'll be bringing the training in and getting the specialized equipment that is necessary to do adaptive climbing. So we're really excited about that. A huge shout out to Pinedale Little League and the town's ball fields were very successful tournament this last weekend.
Who's ready for Sorry about
I got
that.
excited about the ball game. I was like, the timing was perfect. All right, who's ready for it?
But we had just under 500 non-resident visits at PAC Thursday through Saturday.
Wow.
Which is nearly double any previous rendezvous weekend that I've tracked since 2017.
They all coming in for showers or?
They just went as teams. It was chaos at PAC. And that, those non-resident visits don't include anyone that was here for a basketball tournament because they get free admission as participants in the tournament. So it was very successful in bringing a lot of community members or people to the community, and they use the community.
Yeah.
So fun there. To proactively answer some of the questions that you will probably ask me. No, we don't have any facilities with the county. And we are limited with the county for our record requests that have to go to tangible goods.
Yeah.
Still working on that request to be able to provide for just services provided, but we have not made great progress on that. This last year, we received $20,343.55 from the county. And this next year, our request was $20,310. So with that, I will answer any questions you may have.
You did a good job. Well done. Council, any questions for Amber?
I'm just surprised on the Friday numbers, honestly.
I am too.
I really thought
I don't know
that.
where they're at, but
Well, we manage it, but we have some ideas. Some extra Friday graffiti.
Friday art.
Recreational
Program. Yeah, I don't have any other questions. I think you're doing a great job. You're managing a ton of stuff. I don't know how you do it, frankly. And yeah, I know it's always my answer as well. People say the same thing to me. No, I appreciate what you're doing. We will take into consideration. Like I said to Becky, I hate being the Grinch on these things, but we've got to figure out something with.
we've been spoiled with a nice reminder emails the last lots of years. And so that's what I was kind of waiting on. And then I came out and was like, oh, so I've noted, we'll do it next year. So, yeah.
All right. I have no other questions. We've got your request here and we'll take that in consideration and we'll probably make a decision in the next council meeting probably. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, Amber. Thanks. Max, you work with the aquatic center, don't you? Max is.
Max, yes, Max comes to it.
I know.
So now what I'm paying is like.
Really?
I've decided we should deputize Max before rendezvous every year so he can write speeding tickets down Lincoln Avenue.
I'm happy to create a volunteer deputy program. Town attorney. Peggy Weber would be good. Max would be good. I bet we could come up with some names.
You keep doing that, you're gonna increase the attendance of our council meetings. That's for sure. Come to a meeting, get deputized.
Exactly. Roger O'Yan.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next item on our agenda. Thank you, everybody. Our next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Take care, Amber. I will be very clear. Some of the items on the consent agenda have already been signed by me. Some of these were like insurance renewals and things that had to be done. The LUA with the fire service, King Creek, we had to get those things done. So there's nothing crazy. We did turn down a couple of things and said we could sign that when the council gets together. But some of them just had to be done. So Anderson Water Operations LLC agreement for testing services, that's in there. The airport insurance renewals, Rocky Mountain Power easement, Kinky Creek, LUA, I understand. I always forget what LUA is.
Land use agreement. Yeah, for water sewers, one of them,
Airport's the other. Hangar lease number 19, assignment of lease. That is a hangar that's being assigned to the medevac service.
That's just a new one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Same one. Medevac's later in the agenda.
24.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. How many hangars do we have? No, nice.
There's
Yeah. The grant agreement with the FAA, the emulsion purchase and the sedans purchase. Pretty light things. If council has any questions or you want to remove anything, let me know. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the consent agenda as listed.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, been moved by Councilwoman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Spofford to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, everybody.
165.
You know, everybody always tells me that when I'm like 3 pages over. All right. Next item is the request from First Bank. This is a regular town business. First Bank had a curb request. They had come in here previously and we've had a discussion about this. Council had made the decision not to participate. Well, actually talked about it. I think the total amount is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000. They have since come back and they are asking that we do participate in that. Is there any representative for First Bank present? I'm not inclined to agree to this. We already rejected it once. This is a white out right away. And they're, you know, they tore it up and they're putting it back in. And we kind of all agreed at the last council meeting when we approved this, not to do this. So yeah. I don't think we need to take any action. There's no, do you want us to take a motion?
I think the only motion that would be required is if you decided to participate with that.
I felt like we were very clear.
I would suggest a motion verifying that you're denying to participate simply because you put it in with it, they don't come back the next time. I completely agree with you. We had a perfectly good curb and sidewalk before that project and they.
That's right, as part of the project. Yes.
So I have a motion to affirm our previous decision to not fund this.
So moved.
Or confirm, I don't know. Or confirm. Or you can go ahead and make that the right English word. All right, it's been moved by Councilman Spofford, second by Councilwoman Boyce to affirm or confirm our decision to not participate financially in the access removal of 221 East Pine Street as previously discussed. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye to affirm. Not to affirm. Aye. Okay, those opposed? All right, that motion carries 4-0. Great.
Yeah, we definitely had that conversation.
Oh, we definitely had that conversation. And I feel like they had a conversation with Abe. They had presented it to him. I think Abe's response, and I think it's very clear for anybody that staff does not decide these things. And I'm pretty confident Abe said, I will bring it to the town council. And they brought it to the town council and the town council said no. So anyhow, in defense, Abe, I think you did what you're supposed to do. So maybe they'll watch later on on YouTube, but there we are. Great for that service, by the way. All right, next item is the Wyoming State Engineers Office Provisional Accounting MOU. We have Travis and Kevin here to do a presentation. Abe, would you like to begin, or should we let Kevin take it off?
I'll introduce Kevin a little bit.
That would be great.
Topic, and then they can take it and run.
Come on up.
Mayor, council members of the public. This is Kevin Payne. He represents the Board of Control, Wyoming State Engineers Office. We deal with him and Travis McGinnis. Oh, I didn't even see you over there.
I'm sorry. Hey, I saw you sitting there.
Yeah. So we've been in coordination with the state we're in coordination with the state every year over all kinds of things, but this one is more as it relates to the Greater Colorado Compact, and Kevin can better represent what the state is trying to accomplish and how kind of. So appreciate that.
Mayor Murdoch, council. You said I'm Kevin Payne, was superintendent of Water Division 4, and then Travis and John with my staff. As you all probably well know, we're on a 27-year drought on the Colorado River, and with that is also some deadlines going away, and the 2007 interim guideline is one of them. So I'm negotiating the compact. Not renegotiating the compact though, but we're trying to figure out how we deal with it going forward. And one of the things that we've been using as leverages for talking about the lower basin and some things we can do. And one of the things we did was a 5-point plan that says conservation was one of the things we could do in the upper basin rather than a compact call. Mm-hmm. And basically their words to us to show us. So we've been working on some things that Senate File 84 last year was passed. as part of our conservation bill. We did a provisional accounting, which is what the ask is of this group. Provisional accounting last year, we did a retiming of Pinedale, and we moved some water down from there. We was very successful in that, and now we're going to try it in the upper basin. So the ask was whether there was any participation from the town of Pinedale that may be interested, and there was some discussion about 3,000 acre foot that may be available to try to do a test on. So I've been working with Dave and Riverdock on some ideas on how we might do this, and so we've written up a draft summary of how that would go. I don't know if that's been drawn in the documentation or not, but if not, simply what we'd be doing is asking for a release of 100 second foot starting on August 1st, and then going until it was exhausted, and basically 2,900 and 75, I believe, is the total acre foot that would be released. We've tracked that through. We've hired a whole bunch of consultants, and we've been doing some transit loss studies down to this reach of the river, and we're wanting to put some tests of that. So we've taken a shot on what we think the transit loss will be. We'll try to refine that more. I had a conversation with some of them today. We're going to reserve about $9,000 to do only track in the study to make sure we can prove that we move water down to the system. Why this is so important is, we keep trying to push on not having to do a full-on curtailment. If we can balance File 84, provisional accounting, some other things, whether it prevents a curtailment or not, it would at least help us mitigate for a curtailment. And so maybe it would be a less burden to the water users of the area. So that's the ask. If there's any questions, we'll be happy to answer.
Council, any questions? This is obviously a contract that Abe and Ed and I have already been reviewing and have approved. I will say I think this is a great program, and I think there's a good solution in the making here, but make sure that you're comfortable with it.
I would just like to see you give maybe a very clear explanation for anybody who's not been in these conversations. We've talked a lot about it, but I think anybody, watching on YouTube is not going to understand what this is and what the potential problems are if we don't do something like this.
Sure. I can start and then you jump in. Right? How about that? So we owe 10 million. How many acres? Is it 10 million acres?
18,000 acre feet.
No, we know. But the Colorado River Compact is required every 10 years. We have to deliver.
Sorry, they have a 75 and 10, 75 million acre feet over 10 years.
75 and 10. And we have not provided that.
We actually have been providing that up until the coming future, and that will be like this year alone, we will be releasing only 6 million acre foot out of Lake Powell.
Right.
So our obligation is at least varied, and if that obligation is 7.5 million per year or 75 over 10 years, then that is going to be a shortage in the future.
That's right.
And so there's some arguments, and we'll get into what those legal arguments are about what we own, how we own, whether we're, I don't know, but either way, those fights are coming. And so that's right. We will need to either negotiate for our position or have some obligation in the future.
And so if we can demonstrate that the upper basin can actually deliver, for example, 3,000 acre feet through the passages down to the Fontanelle Reservoir, and that gives us, as Kevin said, the ability to show conservation versus curtailment. So rather than all of a sudden curtailing all our current users, we can, like the town of Pinedale currently has 18,000 acre feet in storage that we have. We use about 100 per year. So there is quite a bit where we could actually participate in this program down the road. We'll see if the federal government or the state gets more involved one way or another. But I think people always need to remember, one, this is state water. People always think that's our water. It belongs to the state. We have rights to it, a certain amount of water, but it does belong to the state. And so this project gives us the ability to transfer the water down through a very organized and responsible system that will get ahead of the ball game and actually help resolve some of these problems so we can avoid a lawsuit and avoid everything else that comes with it in the overall Colorado River Compact region. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, yeah, I do. The only thing I'll add is
I oversimplified it.
The town does have 18,000 acre feet, and the waste stored, that's stored in Fremont Lake. I think I could argue, I think these guys would argue for us that currently with the dam full is all storage rights were filled this spring and everybody has got their annual filling. So the town has right at 18,000 acre feet of storage in the lake today. Waste storage rights work in the state of Wyoming is once stored in priority, they remain stored until used. In the event of curtailment, what curtailment means that is in 1922, I believe, was it 22? 22 curtailment, what it would mean is everybody is regulated to 1922, which all of the town of Pinedale storage rights are post, right? They're junior to 1922. And so the town's rights will not be able to be refilled in curtailment call. That would be the lower state saying, give us your water. And I know there's a big battle. We won't get into that battle because I think there's a lot of logistics that are far above me. Regardless of that, we have 18,000 acre feet today. If we release 3,000 acre feet, that's about 7 to 8 inches of water out of Fremont Lake that we would be releasing to the state during this time frame. There is an outside chance that if curtailment were to happen, we would not be able to refill that next spring.
So in other words, if we used 100, we go from 18,000 in storage to 18,900.
Or
17,900, and then 17,800, and then 17.
Yeah, the one thing that's probably not being calculated real long, there is some losses in that reservoir that would be accounted for annually. The town of Pinedale participates in those losses just like other storage right holders.
Evaporation.
Yeah, evaporation, that kind of stuff. So there is, there is an outside risk. This 3,000 acre feet goes downstream. The town doesn't allow it to refill. However, I've done the math. I know what the town has. We have very good direct flow rights. We have good storage rights. We still have a good bank account. And I do feel like this provides the state with the necessary data to hopefully make more informed decisions and arm them with all their conversations with the lower state. I know there's an outside chance that this is the types of programs that leads to some sort of agreement between upper and lower states of purchasing water or, federal government and balancing water better throughout the basin. I don't think there's any compensation for us partnering. We're literally partnering with our friends at the state to try to make their job easier.
And I will say, and that goes, Ed, if I don't say it, Ed will, is the state engineer's office is requesting us to participate. So we could be bullish about it and say, no way, we don't like this idea. But quite honestly, the Wyoming State Engineer's Office has authority over this water more so than we do. And so I think, just in case anybody asks, this is at the request of the state engineer's office. And we have worked super well with Kevin and his team. I think they've been super helpful as we've been negotiating our own agreement. So this makes sense. And I think it's a great solution. I don't know if you're the author of the solution, Kevin, but if you are, you're a brilliant man. Great idea.
I'm not the solution, but I was the one that suggested this down by.
Well done. I think it's a great idea. So
Yeah, I think one way of looking at this is we're giving the state engineer's office a tool to allow them to help us.
yeah.
The status quo is we have a little bit of water here, but they don't have the tool to say they can take these steps.
And going into curtailment is not going to be good for anybody. It's going to be a very painful process, less so for the town of Pinedale, but all our irrigators will really not enjoy it. And Travis looks forward to doing curtailment one day.
Municipalities and the industrial, that's going to be the worst affected. And so that's one of the efforts is trying to protect some of the municipalities and industries and other capital.
So if council agrees, I would ask for a motion to approve the MOU and authorize the mayor to sign.
Long statement. I move to approve the town of Pinedale's participation with the Wyoming State Engineer's Office under the Provisional Accounting Memorandum of Understanding between the Upper Colorado River Commission, the Upper Division States, and the Bureau of Reclamation for the release of approximately 2,950 acre feet of the town's stored water from Fremont Lake beginning August 1st, 2026 at the target release rate of approximately 100 cubic feet per second, subject to coordination with the Wyoming State Engineer's Office and operational conditions.
All right, moved by Councilwoman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Swafford to approve the town of Pinedale's participation with the Wyoming State Engineer's Office under the Provisional Accounting Memorandum of Understanding. And all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Kevin, for working with us. Great document. Travis, John, good seeing you. All right, next item on the agenda is our Pinedale Estates Edition Block 5, Second Amendment, Lot 2, Water and Sewer Permit. Have a good evening, gentlemen. See you around. They have an ungrateful job sometimes.
All the time.
Yeah.
Russ, that's rough.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, Abe, you want to go ahead and present?
Yes. Mr. Mayor and Council, I apologize. So that you see in your packet is called compliance summary. That's out of our new digital permitting program. It's the best thing I could come up with to throw in there. In the time frame that I had on last week to get this submitted. I'm going to open up a slightly different document.
Get used to this because this is going to be your new compliance summary.
Yes.
Blue blade. Did you ever get that thing fixed?
They're coming out Wednesday.
Oh, what is this Wednesday?
I have a nice laundry this morning.
Okay.
Nothing like big, it's all just a bunch of.
No, I'm sure. We're all done.
So this is a very rough sketch of what is going on. This is a submittal from Mr. Casey Allen, who owns the parcel. Just
I was going to say, kitty corner of the lot right here. Yeah.
Literally the empty lot right here across the street. Mr. Dowan, his company would like to pursue selling this lot or developing this lot. And it's come to everyone's attention that a water and sewer service does not exist. We've searched through all of our data, as built on. This is not the only place in town. This happens just so it's aware. I have several of these. We've done what we can to try to identify it and find it. Mr. Dowan would like to fix this before he decides what to do to move forward. I would like to treat this very similar to what we did the cemetery, or I'm not the cemetery district, the museum district a few months ago, where we approved a water and sewer permit, allowing him to tap the water and have the water and sewer developed to the lot as a zero cost permit. This is typically something done during a development. And then we charge capacity fees once we know what's going on this lot. I don't know what that may be. He could develop it or he could sell it and someone else could develop it. During that building permit process is when we would have a separate water and sewer permit that's tied to the size of the domestic water meter that they install, et cetera. Mr. Down would have to get a right-of-way excavation permit, of which he's also submitted on and bonded since it is in the town right-of-way. He's comfortable doing all that. He just wants to make sure he can do it. I don't feel comfortable proving it in this fashion without counsel since there's no cost. And it's kind of a similar situation to what we did up at the museum, but I would recommend that we pursue getting this completed, allow Mr. Down to do the job under a no cost water and sewer permit.
Council, any questions?
Previously, we did it for the museum. This being a private business owner, is there any downside to a precedent by approving it this way?
Only that it should have been done sooner.
And that's fair. I just want to be.
Yep.
We did one for
I think the
50 and this
chances
one for
are we found the
50.
same lot someplace else. We do the exact same.
And that's fine.
Our
It's,
internal
yeah.
processes and policies.
Because it should
not
have.
like someone's going to connect to water and sewer
Yeah.
without paying their capacity. It's no different than Pronghorn Crossing doing it during the subdivision process, or Mr. Goodrich doing it on his subdivision down there. I mean, water and sewer always get stubbed out to the property line as part of our current subdivision processes. And then capacity fee could be paid 20 years down the road when someone puts a house on that lot. So our internal processes will not allow someone to hook onto water and sewer free of charge here. There's nothing that I'm worried about.
Yeah. And so whenever the subdivision was set up, was this just an oversight? Or?
I have to assume yes, because all of the other multifamily buildings.
Yes, they were all.
And they all have water and sewer delivered to them.
Okay.
I have to suspect they went to build the last one and maybe it wasn't there. They missed it during the Civil War. I don't know what happened.
Okay. It should have been done. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to be clear on
2005 to 2009, somewhere in that time frame is when this was all built. So.
Right. Okay.
There are no questions. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve a water and sewer permit at Pinedale Estates Edition Block 5, Second Amendment Lot 2 for the installation of a water and sewer service line with capacity fees to be paid at the time of building permit submission.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilman Boyce to approve the water sewer permit, Pinedale Estates Edition, Block 5, Second Amendment, off to the installation of the water and sewer service line with capacity fee to be paid upon the building permit submission. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next item. This is hangar lot ground lease in the town of Pinedale and David Smith. 24, right? To approve a sublease agreement for the use of portion, set approval, and renewal of the existing. It's beyond its current term.
Yep. Mr. Mayor and Council, what this is before you is there is a new light flight company, 307.
Medical.
307 flight. It's a medevac charter company out of the Pinedale Airport. They are seeking to lease hangar space from lot hangar number 24, which is owned by David Smith. Per our lease agreement with David Smith, all subleases have to be approved by the lessor, and that shall not be unreasonably withheld. This is a process of letting you know. So the next item on the agenda is the SASO agreement with 307 Light Flight. This is the sublease with Mr. Smith. The only thing that's odd in the motion is the sublease is longer than what the current leases that we have with our leases. All of our leases at the airport, program leases, are up at the end of this fiscal year. So I would just ask for the caveat that this is subject to the extension of, I don't see any world that those would not be extended, but however, I think it's clear to make sure that the approval of this sublease is subject upon the extension of said lease of hangar lease 24 at the end of this fiscal year, or this calendar year.
Questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Pursuant to section 11 of the hangar lot ground lease between the town of Pinedale and David M. Smith. Motion, I move to approve a sublease agreement for use of the portion of hangar 24 with this said approval subject to the renewal of the existing hangar lot ground lease beyond the current term of 12/31/26.
All right, it's been moved by Councilwoman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Swafford to approve the sublease agreement of hangar 24 with approval subject to renewal of the existing hangar lot ground release beyond its current term of 12/31/26. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, page 214. Next is the Specialized Aeronautical Service Operator, SASO, with 307 Air Medical Transportation, LLC. Hey, go for it.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is required by our minimum standards for anybody to operate a business at our airport to meet our minimum standards. Obviously, to maintain a SASO agreement, they have to have the proper lease premises, which is what you just approved in your prior motion. And then there's standard insurance and other items that are required by the town of Pinedale. And those obviously would have to be provided within this SASO agreement. There's some paperwork here, but this is the agreement that I to concurrence on. So.
This has been reviewed by myself and Ed and Abe. So are there any questions? Is anybody here to present for 307? Any questions from council?
Pretty straightforward.
I move that we approve the Specialized Aeronautic Service Operator Agreement with 307 Air Medical Transportation, LLC to provide specialized aeronautical services at the Pinedale Airport. Services shall include air charter and air taxi operations conducted under applicable Part 135 authority, specifically for medical air transportation, medevac services, and related patient transport, medical crew operations, and aircraft repositioning activities.
All right, moved by Councilman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Swafford to approve the SASO agreement with 307 Air Medical Transportation, LLC. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next agreement is the amended Pronghorn Crossing subdivision mailbox location. This was a something that popped up on our radar in the last couple of weeks that we were not aware of, but
Because we don't deal with mailboxes.
this has been approved by the post office, as Abe will tell you in just a moment. So go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor and Council, I was contacted by Dennis Fornstrom, who is the project manager out there for Pronghorn Crossing, that several of the property owners who own houses out there are struggling with mail boxes, PO boxes at the post office, and that all future subdivisions were supposed to require a localized mailbox delivery.
So let's be clear, the post office is saying they have no more room. This is why it's being done.
Has no room.
And
So
no new boxes.
I contacted the post office and said, man, I really.
They need a new post office.
Should have contacted me and told me this, but they've been really great. Dealing with Pronghorn is happy to solve this through an on-site post delivery. This will be part of the rural carrier that comes out of the post office, but they have no post office. I shouldn't say no. They don't have enough post office boxes to serve new subdivisions at our current post office in Pinedale. They have requested that all future developers do deliver and that we coordinate with them during the subdivision process in the future to make sure that post offices or boxes are supplied. They do need a larger building that is way beyond the scope and authority of anybody who works in the town of Pinedale. It's out of a real estate office governed by the U.S. Postal Service in Denver. So they're aware of the issues. To solve it for our community, they're asking to install them here on common ground to be owned by the town of Pinedale. Lot 37 is designated to the town of Pinedale. They're seeking to install, it shows 2, but there would be 3 12-unit boxes on this lot. I have no problem with it. I feel like we have to solve the issue. I know about it now. I would definitely coordinate with the post office much earlier in the subdivision process in the future. I just was not aware of it.
So maybe we should write a former letter of complaint to the post office.
I think that would be wise.
Denver.
Yeah, to region aids.
Yeah.
Region aids.
They have to be clear.
Yeah, no, not our local post office. We have our local post office.
So question and comment, and specifically, I've had my box at Moosley's mailboxes because when I moved here, it was the tail end of the boom. There was not a post office box available for me there. Now that there is a private business that offers more post office boxes, how does this impact that? And how does it get more sticky with the fact that we have a mailbox based business in town?
Yep.
But yet they're competing with government. So there's an interesting.
I don't know the answer to that question.
I feel like maybe I raised
did
it.
not.
No. And I didn't think you should. I don't necessarily think you should. It's an interesting grayish at best area. And knowing that I participated in that one, I'm very acute to it. But like, it's odd that with new subdivisions coming in, we do need a new post office. That's true.
I should have done something about that years ago, but to Facebook, but I tried.
Well, no. I just, what I'm saying is
I'm a lazy bum.
No. It's just an interesting, different dynamic than just a community that's growing quicker than the post office can grow because there is that side business.
Yeah.
So like, it's always going to be an interesting, I feel like we're going to have more problems with, that's all I'm saying. And by allowing this is essentially instead of forcing them to Moosley's, which would you think if I was a Moosley's business owner? I am not. I wouldn't want this to be a thing that happens because I would rather them buy a mailbox from me.
Except that, I mean, to your point, you're not wrong. It is interesting because Moosley's is
It's a different thing. Yeah.
It's a side business. They kind of decided, hey, we're going to solve this problem. And let's be honest, I think I do know that there are a number of LLCs and others who have mailboxes at Moosley's, for example. Pinedale is a really great location to have an LLC if you happen to live out of state. Because they do a really good job of collating all that and then sending it on.
Okay.
But this is, to be clear, I mean, this is the post office that said this is what you need to do. So we're like, okay, well, and if every subdivision from now on is going to have this, I think the complaint is you need to make the post office bigger. We've been talking about that for several years and tried to offer solutions to them. But I can't be concerned about part of the business.
And that's fine. I just noticed that the gray area that if we are going to be putting in all the new subdivisions and the new construction that's going on, this won't be the first time we run into this.
I don't think Moosley's will run out of business, to be clear.
To be fair, not worried in a governmental sense, not worried about their business. I just don't want that to negatively impact us getting a new post office because the community needs a new post office. Does that make more sense?
That makes much more
Okay.
sense. And I don't disagree,
Sorry.
but I don't know how to do about it because the likelihood of us getting a new post office before people move into any of these subdivisions, including Goodrich's, is going to be like.
And I'm with you. We're creating a larger
solution.
Problem later.
Yeah.
You know, by doing this.
I
That's
agree
all.
with that. Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Mr. Mayor and town council members, I don't know if this is 100% accurate. I think it is. This is my understanding from my conversations with the U.S. Postal Service, is that the U.S. Postal Service is required by law to provide a free form of postal delivery to each primary residence in America. So if you have
That's their mandate.
business or if you have multiple residences, you would have to pay for a post office box. But a single post office box is like almost an individual right to every property owner or resident in America. And so that's something they have to provide in a single one.
They've created themselves a problem.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yeah. Not our problem to fix.
I guess they need more funding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Do they want?
There have been solutions that have been tried very
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just saying.
from this community to solve this problem, but it's pushing a road, very challenging.
Yeah.
Need more jobs.
Somebody local who can control that.
All right, is there a motion? I don't think we can do anything about it other than approve this. So-
I noticed the gray area. So
Yeah,
I brought
no, you're
that up. That's
not
all.
wrong. Exactly.
What kind of motion we need? Consideration.
Approve.
Just, okay, I move that we approve the consideration of using the town of Pinedale owned common ground, lot 36 for the installation of mailboxes to serve the residents of the amended Pronghorn subdivision.
How about 37? I don't know. I mean,
37, I don't make, approve the consideration, just approve the use of. The use.
Approve the use of, and you said lot 37, not 36?
Yes.
Lot 37. Okay,
Second.
you got her. Okay.
All right, I moved by Councilman Crawford, second by Councilman Boyce to approve the use of town of Pinedale common land block 37 for the installation of mailboxes to serve the residents, the amended Pronghorn subdivision. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-4-0. All right, next is the CGN Limited Liability Partnership Zone Map Amendment Annexation Request. Abe, it's you again.
Mr. Mayor and Council received an application from CJM for two different applications. One is a rezone in this hatched area that is blue on the screen, and the second an annexation, which is just south of there, this green hatched area on this map. This is two different applications, and because they're two different types of applications, it kind of adds a complicating factor on how the town manages this. I've met with our attorney, Mr. Ed Woods, to make sure that we follow this process the right way. And I want to first start off by just discussing with you and the public of how the process will proceed. Applications are certainly allowed by anybody who owns property in the town of Pinedale. CJM owning both of these parcels. The first one is a rezone application. And if I were to open up, and I will do so, Sutherland County GIS, which is the keeper of our current zone districts in the town of Pinedale, a zone map amendment is allowed under two things for the town of Pinedale. One can be an error or changing conditions in the town of Pinedale. Ridley's has purchased this ground, and you can see that it is zoned commercial, R1, R2A, and R4 currently. They have submitted their rezone application under the authority or under the allowance of changing conditions in the town of Pinedale. I think I could argue that also maybe erroneous. It looks like to me that this was a lot that when annexed, they said, hey, this percent goes to this district and this district, because the lines don't make sense. And so what Ridley's has requested specifically, I'm going to scroll down in the agenda packet, is, I'm sorry, my computer is slowly, it's a big map and being online, I'm trying to zoom out here to get a greater picture, getting closer.
It's been like one.
Ooh, smoke coming out of my computer here in a second. Okay. So they have that area that they are seeking rezone is essentially this area on this map. This other half, or not even half, a smaller portion on the right is the annexation. Also, they're seeking zoning to match the town of Pinedale zoning inside of that annexed area. So during a rezone or a map amendment, what happens is I bring that to you guys and you guys review it. And if you're okay with everything, you under the town code section 475-300, you refer it to the planning and zoning board to consider such rezone under a public hearing. So that unleashes my staff report, that unleashes public notification and all those things that are required. By our code, that has to be done upon accepting an application within 60 days. So put that over here for a second. The other portion, which is this annexation request, any landowner can petition to the have the legal right to petition to a municipality to annex a portion of ground. They have petitioned to annex this section of ground. It's a little bit smaller, about 15 or 16 acres just south. And they would like to rezone it to match the zoning kind of boundaries that they're seeking in the already annexed portion of town. Annexation is a little bit different process than just a zone amendment because the annexing municipality has to complete what's called an annexation report. We review several things required by Wyoming state statute. We develop that report and then we have to send a different set of notifications to those within a certain buffer inside or outside the town of Pinedale. It's a bit more onerous on the town of Pinedale, and the town of Pinedale will be reimbursed for the cost if it comes up to complete this annexation. The applicant is aware that there is a cost of us developing this report. We just have some homework to get done. That has to be completed, I believe it's 30 to 120 days of annexation. Because of the outside of like agencies and other things that we need to seek, I do not believe I can run both parallel within the 60-day time frame. I certainly can within that 120-day time frame. It's the recommendation of our town attorney that we communicate this with our applicant. We run these two together just for the cleanness and clarity. Don't want to, it can get very confusing running them separate. We're going to run the two together. And with that being said, I believe the time frame to complete this public hearing will likely be at our planning and zoning meeting in September. That gives me the time to get my staff report, my annexation report, get Ed's comments, get our town attorney, get fire, sheriff, everybody, clerk, the opportunity to read my comments, and then take this to a public hearing in September to the Planning and Zoning Commission, which would then come back to your desk, your table in the first or second meeting in September, and be a September/October timeframe. Both of these require ordinances, which are 3 reads before the town council. There will be 4 separate opportunities for input from public. There will be neighbor notifications that go out, depending on the application, either 140 feet within it, but then the annexation, it's a greater distance. I believe it's 300 feet for the annexation portion. So this kind of gives us the opportunity to get all of that done. The planning and zoning, opportunity for public input at public hearing, and then opportunity for public input at public hearing before you guys 3 separate times. We have reserved the library for our August 17th planning and zoning meeting. I don't think I can be ready by then. I would recommend that we do our first public hearing at the library before planning and zoning, just to make sure we have enough space. And then depending on how much public input we have, we'll determine if we have follow-up town council meetings there, or if we have enough space in this room to continue with consideration of these applications.
Do we explain this to you?
No, I'm well aware of this one.
I was watching this. Any questions from council? I mean, I have one question, but
Is it different than mine?
it's probably the same one that we're looking at. Okay, wait a second. Any other questions? Councilman Loftus, any questions? It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty, I'm good. I don't have any questions.
Councilman Swafford and I were looking at the one piece of property.
Can
What's
you go
that
back
one
to the
piece of
last-
property?
The one that
Can you go to your
the
GIS?
diagonal lines that you just had? It was the screen right before this. Yeah, go to that one if you can. Maybe.
I'm trying.
Or if you've got GIS, if GIS works quicker on your computer, that's fine too.
Yeah.
We can, I think we can get to it. Yeah, okay.
What's that?
So zoom in.
That one?
Just keep zooming.
Right next to the highway.
Right there.
What's that
Why,
parcel right there?
are we creating something weird that you can't?
That's just right of way. It'll be something that comes up in our annex.
Okay, okay,
So who knows that right of way?
okay. It looked like we were capping it and I was like, that's this.
So I can't even click.
I know, I was having the same thing. That's why we're asking.
Which tells me it's either county, or town, or state right of way of some sort that's not clearly defined as a deed simply. So we'll have to figure out what that is.
Oh yeah, just the 50 feet or whatever that is.
Right, we'll be surrounded by 75%. Let's just grab it.
Goes through there in the town.
This is driving.
Yeah.
So that is they own the land. A lot of the stuff right around the edge of the town, the highway department owns them.
Yeah.
So people would like
We could just, yeah.
We're gonna figure that piece out.
There, okay, and just wanted to point that out. We looked at them. It didn't have a color on that other sheet.
I know.
With the diagonal lines, so I was like, is that just right of way or? Because technically, the way you've got it, or the way that it's proposed, the green diagonal lines go all the way to the highway right below it. So you like literally make, I have no idea if that's 50 or 100 feet there, but you're literally just making an unusable square of land if it's not included. Okay, there you go, yeah.
We'll make sure, well, we want to make sure with any rezone or annexation, if we're staying clean on our right of way and this, at least on the highway portion of it, sometimes it's a little difficult, but I'm assuming that the DOT is going to work with whatever.
The landowners, yeah.
So are there any questions from anybody in the audience? Because I see we have a couple of citizens here and I don't know what you're concerned about this matter or if there's another matter. I want to give you opportunity to speak if you want to speak.
Basically, we'll get a house facing that field.
Yeah.
One of these ones over here.
On the,
Okay. Yes.
So how much of that are they planning on developing? Just where the yellow and the brown or?
So the current plan, we have a preliminary plat from them, which is not what it's just like an initial drawing. And I think this is probably going to fall under our new PUD.
They are clean rezone. They are with the PUD process. They don't know what they're going to do beyond phase one.
All right.
So
that's their choice.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mix. Ridley's is going to put a new store down there. They're going to put some stores along the highway. And then they're going to be put residential units in there. So I don't know exactly yet. And I don't think anybody knows exactly yet what would be in front of your home, to be clear. But the idea is I don't think they'd be putting necessarily businesses right up against that property line on your side, but probably make that more residential closer to your side.
Yeah.
well, there will be.
But I mean, from their perspective, they want to be close to the highway so people can come in and do the commercial activities there. But there could be houses or townhouses on that side because they are looking at building new homes.
And I assume they'll probably have some sort of public hearing.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
But zoning does set the legal authority.
That's right.
Rights of property. So right now, commercial zoning, as zoned today, they could come in with a subdivision and do a commercial subdivision that would extend east Mapville out. Everything's north. That is commercial. If we look at the current application, that they are proposing the C1 zone district to be one block further to the south, which would be, I believe it's Beach Street. Let me go back to GIS.
Yeah, there's Mapville A and then B.
Street. So if I were to kind of draw on here the application, and one of the things I am going to request from is a map that kind of shows overlapping zone districts because it's hard to follow. But the zone district they're proposing is approximately that zone as commercial, and then obviously along the highway. Something kind of that's similar. I'll get a better map when this goes to public hearing. The way the processes will work is we will have a map, and probably the map that will come in the neighbor, we call them neighbor notifications, will likely be existing zoning with proposed zoning on top of it is what I will request from them. But you will receive a letter that shows at least a map of what they're proposing. And in their letter, it will say, we have made this application. This is the date and time of the meeting that this will be discussed. If you have concerns, you can either A, show up to that meeting, or you can B, give written comments to, and they'll have my email in there, and I bring those forward to the planning building and town council. So you will receive, it'll come certified. So when you go to your post office, I believe what they do is there's a little green slip in there that you have to go and pick it up from the counter, and you sign for it and say, I received this letter. So that's how it comes. You get an odd package, that's kind of what it is, comes certified mail, and there will be those opportunities at that.
And that will be sometime around September.
So I have legal notification processes. I believe that neighbors go out at least 10 days in advance of the meeting. And right now, we do not have our September meeting scheduled because our common date is lands on Labor Day. So we'll have to figure out what day that actually is. I suspect it'll be either the next week or probably mid-September is where that will land. I also have to publish in the paper, and I also have to put postings out physically on the property. So you'll see some 2x3 bigger signs posted on the property. It shows that exact, when that meeting is. And then obviously, if you have any questions, you can write questions as well, and I'll do my best to answer them. I can push them on to the applicant. This is a process that takes a couple months to get through. So
Yeah, there's not going to be a rush.
Question, I'm not here for that, but is that like all the wetlands by where the burger farm and stuff, where they already buy all that property? I used to live on Barney Street.
Oh, they bought it years ago.
It's like that one should have been like a nature or like a bird conservatory or something. It's like all the use and everything needs to be out over there. And now everybody's bought that land.
Oh, they bought it years ago. Yeah, they bought it years ago, and the family sold it.
most of the water is caused by, they have water rights, irrigated water rights that are distributed onto the property. That's something that has to be dealt with at the time of either A, annexation, or B, development with the town of Pinedale. They have to deal with them, and that kind of comes to this table as well. What happens to those water rights? Do they use them, or do they get deeded over to the town through the town's municipal supply system? And so it's something that's kind of always dealt with by our code. It may be dealt with at either of those two time frames, not necessarily at one.
It's an annexation permit. It says they shall be deeded to the town, but if the council approves, it can be delayed until development takes place. So that will come to the town, but it can be either at A or at your approval. It can be B when the actual development takes place.
So, but yes, it is wet over there. They're aware of that. As far as what it becomes, I can tell you, this is the answer I give everyone. Developable rights are dictated by zoning codes within any community. The area that they are planning to annex, this smaller area down here, is currently zoned agriculture. All of this up here is zoned a mix of commercial, residential, different types of residential. If they were to come into the town of Pinedale today, they would have every legal right to go through an objective subdivision process of commercial, residential, et cetera. So this rezone is kind of redefining their legal rights of what can to develop. Now, some of those are ag, but most of them are some residential.
Any other questions, sir? I didn't catch your name. I'm sorry.
Norm Donut.
Okay.
My place, I'm from Rock Springs, but I've had this place up there for 30 years.
Change is always happening. Yeah.
It ain't always good.
No, it ain't always good, but we appreciate it. Thank you for coming to the meeting, and we'll make sure, if you have questions or you're not getting the letters, feel free to contact staff. Feel free to talk to your neighbors, and if you can, help them to understand that there is a process. This is not happening overnight.
Yeah.
It will be months long, and we don't mind questions and we don't mind input. So
What the process is for.
that's right. So, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
All right, I think if we're okay, I will entertain a motion to move this to planning and zoning for public discussion.
So moved, if it's that easy.
For both items, correct?
As long as you guys are okay with them running slightly different time zone on the rezone applicant, the applicant is comfortable with that. I've spoken with them. I'm comfortable with that, and we're good to go. I will document through that a letter to them clarifying that we're going to run them on the same sequence, but I think we just need to refer it on to planning and zoning for consideration of the public hearing.
And discussed the parallel as opposed to doing separate, and it just doesn't work if you try to run them separately. The time and frames are up, it just works. It's easier to run them. Don't separate, run them at the same time.
Everybody good with this? Okay. Motion. Yeah, I move that we refer the zone map amendment request and the annexation petition received from CGM Limited Partnership to the Planning and Zoning Commission for consideration under formal public hearing as pursuant to Chapter 475-300. Excuse me.
Councilman Loftus, can I get a second?
Yes, I'll second that.
Thank you. Moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilman Loftus, to refer the CGM Limited Liability Partnership Zone Map Amendment and annexation request to planning and zoning. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, sir.
Perfect timing also.
Yeah, that was really
Actually, perfect timing. Yeah, impeccable.
I had to zoom in here. Oh, what? All right, next item is the Pinedale Pathway Connectivity Project Phase 2. Abe again.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this consideration of Phase 2 is for an application to the Wyoming Department of Transportation on the Transportation Program fiscal year 2027. It is approximately 90-10 grant. It's 90.49% federal, 9.51% local. This is a continuation. We talked about the two different projects we could do this year. We turned in 2 SOIs to the state. They came out and visited us. The state really likes Phase 2 of this project being these 2 segments. I will say the cost estimate came back a little higher than what I was anticipating. I did speak with Wes today. We'll talk about those cost estimates here in a second. But basically what the town is looking at is, should we pursue Phase 2 of the pathway connectivity project, which would extend our pathways from basically Harmon Bridge to the ball fields, and then the ball fields north to the elementary school. Remember that during these construction funds would be available in fiscal year 2028 to 2029 is the timing of this, which aligns with all of the work on Pine Street, which is when the underpass is getting built. So this would kind of connect everything together all at the same time up there on the west side of town. The consideration of this, just we need to know, should we turn in this application? The cost estimate and revised maps are at the front of your documents in the agenda packet, and then kind of the whole draft application that we filled out and already sent to the state. They've reviewed it. We have a few changes to make on it, but we need to change some of these cost estimates and maps that go in there. But basically, the cost estimate came in right under 1.5 million collectively. I thought it was close to about 1.1 million. It's a little higher than I anticipated. If you look in there, you see that Wes and his team built a contingency of 25% because these projects are 2 years out. Wes didn't want to undershoot on the grant, and then we get 2 years into construction. We're like, Wes, now we have to bring $200,000 to the table to finish.
Yeah.
Though from our conversation with the state, my conversation with Wes feels like we've done a lot of work to set this project up. He's liked the state's responses. He said collectively it is a very good project, and though 1.5 million is a big ask from the state, he doesn't think it's going to shock them because of all the homework we've done. Now, I don't know how big of a pool of money they have for other applicants. That is a big chunk. And so if it made more sense to maybe do just the key connection, the Bloomfield connection and getting up to the elementary school, or piecing it apart to try to take a smaller chunk, I think we should have that discussion today. But obviously we're looking at a pretty good size grant request on a $1.5 million project. It's about 1.35 of that being federal and $150,000 local match plus or minus.
You got your funding request at $104,334.
So that's the first applicant I sent on the cost estimate.
Yeah.
And so if you look up in the motion, I did the math based on this.
No, 140, yeah, 13142.
$142,525.19.
And that is for the full,
Local match.
That would be for the entire,
for both.
to do both.
Yeah.
And it could be less, but.
Yeah, we do have to do a little different math here before we pass this, and then we do have to pass a resolution later. The two need to match.
Do you need then priorities from us as far as what we decide?
Well, I guess my question is do we want to put the application in for the two or not? If the answer is yes, then we don't. If the answer is no, then we have to prioritize.
I have a question. If we submit the application with everything and then they give us less, can we cut a portion off and just do?
I would suspect, yes, they've never went quite through that process with us. I've never been given less than what we requested. We've either succeeded.
So you think yes or no?
Okay. Fine there.
Yeah.
You said that when they were here though, they liked.
Yes. They do like the project. I mean, they
$1.5 million like it?
I mean, the state has invested significant time, energy, and money getting us to this point in that master plan. So,
I mean,
I don't know.
it coincides with, yeah, like it's just too perfect to not.
It finished a big chunk of pathways, the Pine Street project.
Much of which they've funded.
Yeah.
So I think we ask for everything.
If we have to cut.
And if there's, the potential to have a side conversation and say we would be open to less, that might be worth the
See what they say when I come back.
Yeah, that's fine.
My philosophy is if we fail, we have a lot of construction going for that summer. So if it goes and we can just make one bigger project, fantastic. If it fails, I'm plenty busy. So we will, they can give us the feedback and say cut it in half next year and we'll do it. This 29.
So hypothetically it fails. When they come through and do 191 in 2028, the expectation, right? Will they put in the underpass because it is part of our master plan?
Yeah, that's already included.
Okay, so this is really just finishing the other aspects of it.
Yep.
Just to be clear.
So this underpass will connect Wilson Street to the pathway on the north side. So regardless, that finishes there's a connection.
That is, okay.
And extends the south side pathway along the highway. So that's all being done with wide up.
No matter, okay.
This would be kind of north and south connecting through it.
And my personal feeling on it is if we had to pick just one side, I would rather do the north and, because the other portion, there are streets there.
Yeah.
So you can get there, but this other connection up to the school doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, the question is simple. Does anybody not want to go for both?
Yep.
Okay.
So I think.
I think that's through the motion and we'll supply the application and.
Yep. I move that we approve the submission of a grant application under the Wyoming Department of Transportation Alternative Program TAP for the town of Pinedale, TAP and TOP for the town of Pinedale Pathway Connectivity Phase 2 project in a total federal grant request of $1,356,162.31 and a required local match of $142,525.19.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilwoman Boyce to approve the submission of a grant application under the Wyoming Department of Transportation TAP program for the town of Pinedale Pathway Connectivity Phase 2 project at a total federal grant request of $1,356,162.31 and a required local match of $142,525.19. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
You're on mute.
Okay.
You're on mute, Dean.
Sorry. There was too much screaming outside my window, so I muted myself. Sorry.
Too many happy kids. Is that what you're telling me?
Same here.
That's what I'm telling you.
That's a good thing. That's a good problem to have. All right. Next item is F9, which was amended. This is the Stoll temporary use permit. It's pretty straightforward.
It's pretty green.
Yeah, looks pretty great. All right. This is for what date? What date is it, Haley?
This new app. Pre-application meeting is 6/9. Where's the? Starts August 12th. It's on page 3 of the document.
All right, so we're looking for a temporary use permit for the solo competition on August 12th.
Yeah, August 12th through August 16th.
There you go. Any discussion?
Just check the box. Yeah, just check the box.
All right, can I have a motion, please?
I move that we approve the temporary use permit for the Stoll competition to take place in August 12th through August 16th at the airport. Does that work?
Oh, second.
I'll
sorry.
second it.
You can have it.
All right, moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilman Loftus to approve the temporary use permit for the Stoll competition at the Pinedale Airport, August 12th through the 16th. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, next item is G1, ordinance 740 on its third and final read, temporary use.
So I have a couple of amendments on this. Under number 2, B2, there's an extra period in the middle of that itinerant. And then just wanted to ask about the permits are not valid during rendezvous. That line that's red.
Yes.
What is the?
That's a very wonderful conversation. Let's go for it. It's
So people who buy an annual food truck permit want to then put their food truck at all these locations all over town during rendezvous. But historically, we have never permitted other vendor fairs to pop up or vendor uses or food truck uses all over town during rendezvous. Predominantly because we don't have the staff to keep an eye on all this stuff, all these trashies and everything everywhere. And also because the host organization of those vendor fairs invests a significant amount of time and money to put those vendor fairs on. And then if we have people undercutting them everywhere, well, I don't want to pay $250 to be a vendor at rendezvous, but I want to go down the street, but I'm still going to use your porta potties and your hand wash stations and your seating and all that. We've always said that's not a fair thing to do.
The reasoning makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And then a couple, I noticed that you made all the changes that I had requested, except number 6. Number 6 under, what page is that? On 313. We had discussed that the construction would need that extra insurance, and that didn't get added to this. It does say in that earlier one, it requires it. I think it's 0.1. So that needs to change. And then C, additional requirements is not formatted the way I explained, but I think I forgot to leave you my edits on that. And so I actually have copies for everybody if you want to take one and pass them for how it needs to be.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to just throw it there.
Thank you. Yes, sorry about that, Judy.
That's okay. It was hard to explain it, so I should have left my paper with you last time.
Figured that out. It wasn't too hard. One out.
Yeah. So those are my amendments.
This is perfect.
Yeah. So with those amendments, I move that we approve ordinance 740 on third read and ordinance of the town of Pinedale, state of Wyoming, amending section 160-20, temporary use.
All right, it's been moved by Councilwoman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Swafford to approve ordinance 740 on its third and final read with the amendments as discussed. Is there any discussion? And I think you are here for this, so I want to give you a chance to speak now or forever hold your peace. Yes, please. Give us your name.
My name is Sarah Casada.
So what is it?
Sarah Casada. Thank you. I'm just here because I really wanted to see you guys make sure that this was pushed through. I did the town of the boot sale. I don't know if you guys saw that on Public County for sale. It is, I asked the Wilderness Church if we could use their parking lot to have people come and open their trunks and just sell wares. It's like a community yard sale. I didn't even know that we would have to have the temporary use permit when we did that. Because it was on private property and it was also the church, but I found out a lot of stuff that has to be taught me to find out. If you want me to show up and positively encourage this movement, because I think it'd be really, it's like a great thing for the community to come together, but then it'd make it a lot easier for us to do stuff like this.
We were on the radio talking about it last Tuesday morning.
I had such a huge response. Like I had like 100-something like likes on it in like 2 days on Subway County, which I thought was huge. So
Yeah, good idea.
And as long
we get the ball rolling and make sure that we get to be able to do stuff like this. So, and the farmers market is was completely different. I got a little backlash from them, and so I just wanted to make sure that we all had everything straightened out on this.
I feel like, I mean, so to be clear, I had a conversation with Duke, who's the pastor of the church builders, and he were talking about it on the radio live. And so, and it seems like if it's done just right, and the farmer's market has signs like, hey, go over there to the boot sale, and the boot sale has like, hey, go to the farmer's market, I feel like it could be very complimentary. And especially since the farmer's market is specifically, and I think completely rightfully focused on food items and one or two other I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, that's for the people that can't comply with the farmer market regulations. It's all right in the same area. People can go and do the circles.
I think as long as
something to do on a Saturday, it's safer than going to everybody's houses with a bunch of strangers.
Concur.
So,
well, strangers are not bad. We got to get to know each other. But I think it is much easier to go to one location and buy stuff.
Yeah. People are good and I was like, as long as they have their car insurance, they should be fine. And if they don't, then that's not their own responsibility. They have like a fender bender pulling in there or something like that, you know. As long as everyone's respectful, cleans up the parking lot.
And so you feel good about when we pass this on the third read, assuming we'll pass it.
Yeah.
That what she's referring to with the car boot sale is completely.
We had no mechanism at this time before we started this, and incidentally, we started this back in April. We had no mechanism to allow for a temporary use permit to be on private property. So if you wanted to have a group type sale, then each person would have had to have gotten their own personal itinerant working permit. Now we can issue a temporary use permit that allows you to collect 10 or 15 or whatever it is dollars to have, or nothing, but you can get a blanket temporary use permit to allow multiple merchants. We had no mechanism to allow.
Because the church is not going to charge us for anything. I asked Duke if he wanted the car vendors to do a donation. Because I mean, everybody wants to. I'm like, you know, you don't make any money, you don't have to have a donation. If you make a bunch of money, maybe you can.
Yeah.
But at church down like 50.
And to be clear, that like the property of the church actually belongs to Pinedale Natural Gas, so it's like,
Yeah, I mean, so there's a process in that temporary use permit.
What about
The owner of the property, not Duke, the owner of the property.
Yeah, be sure that's clear, because that Duke wouldn't be able to necessarily do that. That's why it's not that.
And I was supposed to be getting a letter from Duke from the property owner. He's supposed to be working.
Right, exactly. And the property owner called me and said, what? And I was like, what the heck are we all talking about? So I caught up with all of you last week. I was all on the live radio at the same time.
Well, that'd be really fun because there's a whole bunch of people that live out of town too, that people aren't going to be going to their houses and the weekends. So I was like, well, everybody just came together.
The only thing I would ask is if each side just promoted the other.
Yeah, and that's what I like. I love for people to go back and forth. But I have absolutely no problems with that. I think that's great.
Cool.
So there was an event about, it's probably more than a week ago, the Wrangler Booster Club sale kind of thingy thing.
Yeah.
Should that have probably had?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Just curious, that was a just check. In the old, or Mountain, it's now Mountain Mama's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say it.
Yeah, that's originally where they wanted to plan the farmer's market to be occurring at.
Yeah.
And we could not give them a permit to have it there unless each person got an itinerant merchant permit.
Gotcha.
So she didn't know, but she chose to just park on anyway.
Well, I found out everything and came before you guys because I was at the, I know, I thought it was a great location. I love for all of us to work together, so.
Wow. Ask for permission, then forget.
When we start deputizing people to go and get tickets, you're gonna be like, let's stop. Oh, there you go. You live in town?
I really appreciate you guys pushing this through today.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. There is a fee for the temporary use permit. So.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I really appreciate your guys' time for that.
Thank you. All right, it has been moved and
It'll be
seconded.
$100. Yeah.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I just have a question related to that, if you don't mind.
I do.
How is a craft fair or something like that different, other than it's inside?
It's not different.
So those require,
Oh, I mean, you
For like-
inside one, you have one different inside?
Like what happens in the living room, for instance.
Yeah. I have an opinion, but I'll let Ed answer.
So you'll know.
Well, I think the main thing is you're doing it inside a facility of some type as opposed to out.
So this is temporary use of something that is not normally used in that manner. So a parking lot or a street, right?
okay.
Versus an indoor use.
Like the living room, which is generally used for as a meeting place or book sales or other thing like that. So
The point is generally used as a gathering place.
Wrangler gym for a regular place.
So that's how I look at it, at those being different. The Catholic Church, I believe, has a rummage sale also. That's generally typically used as a gathering place. So that's not a difference in the type of
Use.
that temporary use of a street is, a street's not normally used for a gathering place unless there's a cash. But, so.
Let's not have those gatherings. Okay, thank you. I was just curious.
That's my opinion on why those are different.
There you go. Look at that. All right, moved and seconded. Is there any
I
final
was gonna say
discussion?
junior attorney hat. We need to give those badges out. It's
Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you.
Cool, thanks.
But there is a case made that they should have business license.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
The merchants or the,
Yeah.
the location hosting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right, next item, ordinance 741 on third and final read. This is the zone map amendment. Portions of criminal path stage. Oh, this is our hospitals. I'm like, which one are we doing now?
Mr. Mayor, Council, nothing's changed from the last one except for the appropriate book and page was added for the recording of the record survey completed by GPS survey present. I did want to make sure I got that right. That is miscellaneous, correct? Mixed. What's that?
Mixed.
The book.
No, we don't no longer have X of deeds, X of quick claims, put X of miscellaneous, mortgage releases, mortgage. You have, as of 6 years ago, everything now is mixed, either mixed or mixed.
So then we need to make an alteration in this ordinance, book 395 of mix. Page 532. MIX.
See that?
On page 317 of your packet.
317. I was sitting here looking at 316 at the top. Shoot.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Also, track C is shown survey or boundary brush has been recorded in book 395. Is that what you're saying?
395 of mix, MIX.
Instead of miscellaneous.
Correct.
Page 532.
That's what happens when you're in a surveyor.
All right.
Your surveyor badge.
So can I have a motion to approve ordinance 741 on its third read with the amendment? Miscellaneous to mix on page 2 of the ordinance. Whatever it is.
Yep, I got you.
Section 1, tract C.
Okay, 1. help me out in case I missed. Okay. I move that we approve ordinance 741 on the third read, and ordinance submitting the zoning map of the town of Pinedale to reflect the amendment of the zoning classification of portions of certain lands described in Book 1 of Patents, page 181, as recorded in the office of the county clerk, Sublette County, Wyoming, town of Pinedale, from its present zone district classification of R2A and R4 to the Z1 zone district, with the amendment on page 2 of the ordinance, section 1.1, thank you. Changing book 395 of miscellaneous to book 395 of mixed. That's correct.
Excellent. And is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilwoman Boyce to approve ordinance 741 on third and final read as amended, changing miscellaneous to mix. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. All right, next item on the agenda is ordinance 742 on its first read. Strangely enough, I got an email today, somebody who had almost got hit by an e-bike. They're like, would you please do something about it? So I'm going to be able to say, look at that. We actually are.
Does an electric scooter count as an
Yes, you can read the thing.
Oh yeah, motorcycle. Okay.
It's very.
I literally saw a kid flying.
Okay, so I'm going to be very clear. This is an ordinance that I drafted pretty quickly based off of primarily the Jackson ordinance, but drawing from Cheyenne, because Cheyenne's got a really good understanding of some of these things, because the mayor actually there sells motorcycles and bicycles, I should say. We are not fully positive. Our own municipal officer is going to be very strapped on the enforcement side of this. I'm going to be very honest. However, she, at least if she sees an infraction, will be able to enforce it. So I've got to be very clear. Like, I just got an email today from somebody saying, I almost got hit. My wife almost got hit the other day. These kids are on the sidewalks. These kids are running these bikes at 30 miles per hour. Mm-hmm. I feel like if we pass the ordinance, it at least gives the sheriff and the municipal officer the ability to do something about it. We can tweak this. We have 2 more reads. Ed and I, we're looking at it. Overall, I think it's reasonable. But in the coming weeks, we can tweak this. But I felt like better to get ahead of this because people are talking about it quite a bit. And the kids have been, this one kid almost hit my wife. My wife runs up and says, are you okay? And he was kind of cut. And he says, I just don't know what to do with my dad's $6,000 e-bike, $6,000 e-bike. You're like, well, maybe you shouldn't have been driving it. 40 miles per hour over home range road. Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. Was that, I feel like there was an increased amount of kids here due to the Little League. And I feel like I think there was some e-bike usage, like increased the tick up, this past week.
I mean, these people, this lady writes, I was traveling down Pine Street at 25 miles per hour. A juvenile, unknown if it was the same kind, actually passed me while I was traveling on an e-scooter on the sidewalk.
Youths.
I've witnessed this.
Yeah, I have too. So
I haven't been to West Pine. I would just say the number of bikes and scooters in general, our Pine Street sidewalks is not good. It is very hazardous. I almost saw someone getting hit from the Cowboy Barn, just stepped out and someone was, they were cruising. Mm-hmm. And so it's not the right place for it. But the number of e-bikes and everybody, I've seen e-bikes past, going 40 down Pine Street.
Yeah. I've seen them go over 20 miles an hour on South Tyler, back towards Fox Willow, where it drops down to 20, which admittedly, I hate that. But definitely going faster than 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
No, it's just a kid on a little scooter and he's just, I'm like, okay, man.
So I encourage passage of this on its first read. If we need to tweak it, we can get into that in the second and third read. And if you're
I just have a couple of small amendments that we could do. Under 440-33, minors and parental responsibility. I think A and B say basically the same thing. I would recommend just keeping B because B it says the same exact thing and then adds to it.
What's up?
A and B of 440.
Yeah, so A says a parent, guardian, or person having custody or control of a minor shall not authorize or knowingly permit a minor to violate this article And B says, a parent, guardian, or person having custody or control of a minor shall not authorize or knowingly permit the minor to operate an electric bicycle, motor assisted scooter, or other device in a manner inconsistent with the device's lawful classification, posted regulations, or this article. So it's saying the same thing. It's just more in depth on number 2. So on B, I would just say keep B.
Yeah, okay. I found that. Sorry, I was looking at 30.
Yeah, and then the next page down, severability. If any section, subsection, sentence, clause, phrase, or portion of this article is for any reason held invalid or unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision, and such holding shall not affect the validity of the remaining portion of this article. I don't feel like we have that anywhere else in code. Is that a mistake? Am I misinterpreting that?
Severability deal. It's a little broad, but it doesn't hurt anything.
But does it fall in line with what we have if it's nowhere else?
Doesn't say.
You find it in state statute.
The problem is that we're having case law getting on things faster. And so being able to sever part of it, say, okay, you struck this portion, but the rest of it stays instead of the entire ordinance going.
Yeah, I'm not.
I see more of this, more important.
Well, that was my question. I'm not necessarily saying that we don't need to take it out. I'm saying, do we need to go back and add it to other places as well? Because to me, this was different than what I've seen anywhere else. So.
And this is just because I've been doing more work on state law, so that's where it kind of came into.
Well,
that's
follow-up question to that, Ed, could we put that in Article 1 of town code that applied to all of town code? That severability portion?
It's a good idea.
Just might keep it.
Because we're just case
Because
law.
then it's just covered, right? And you don't have to.
Case law is just getting ahead of us and moving so fast.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I just.
Require you to be licensed?
No, they just are not allowed to use it in certain portions. Just you can put a license youth on. It'd be nice if you could, but.
But what we really need is a lot of education to happen because, I mean, I have teenagers. My new 15-year-old had a bike that he was looking at and he thought I'm like, that is a motorcycle. And he's like, no, it's an e-bike. It's E. And he thinks if it's E, I'm like, you cannot drive that on a pathway. And he's like, show me, I don't believe you.
Oh yeah, well, there you go, baby.
He looked at the state statute and found that it's over the amount of whatever they call them.
CC.
Yeah, over the CCs. And so he wouldn't be able to. Anyway, I was like, listen to your mother.
Just stating it was just your mother.
I could tell just by looking at it.
That day right for the fireworks.
Yeah, right.
Right back.
All right, so I have a motion to approve this on first read with the amendments that your one amendment.
Yep. I move to approve ordinance 742 on first read, an ordinance of the town of Pinedale, state of Wyoming, creating Article 6 of Chapter 440 relating to bicycles, electric bicycles, motor assisted devices, and pathway use with the amendments we discussed.
Second.
All right. It's been moved by Councilwoman Boyce, second by Councilman Swaffer to approve ordinance 742 on its first read with the amendment of deleting section 8, 10, or whatever, 440-33.
Quick comment.
Yep.
Quick comment. So given Amber, not to call her out on this piece, but she said she doesn't read the newspaper and that's where this would go once it gets passed on its third read, right? Is it wise then to do a motor assisted device safety push to either the schools, to ads in the paper, something like posters?
I've been thinking about
There's gotta be
I
something,
pushed
right?
the school to do something on sidewalks like last year. So we're having too many kids on the sidewalks with their bikes and riding their bikes across 191.
They gotta know the proper way
And
to
the
do
school's
this.
like, that's a good idea. And then they forget.
Well, I wonder if we could do if the town could come in and do a workshop at the school, like an assembly, explaining what the rules are.
I'm for it. This is my jam, guys.
I elect Gabe to go to the school and present.
All right,
So,
and I'll be there as tribute. I'll be like,
Sheriff and town staff
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
like, this is the problem, let's fix it.
Yeah.
or it's a real issue.
So remember those things that they watch blood on the highway? Where it's at?
I was thinking the same thing.
Programming, Pinedale gives out free bike helmets.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure who does that public health.
Oh, that'd be a good
Yeah.
killer partnership there.
They're also pretty specific to the type of use though. So I don't know if with an e-bike, if that bumps up the requirement for a different type of helmet.
I would imagine.
I just feel like not enough people are going to read the newspaper and know that this is
Yeah.
passed.
No, and we need to target the audience that's
Totally.
causing the problem.
Exactly.
So,
All right. I think, did we vote on it?
No, it was.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, those opposed, motion carries 4-0.
Great. Sorry, I cut you off with the
No,
comment.
I know, I was like, where are we in this process? All right, next item is the resolution 2026-17. It's the TAP application that we just discussed.
Can you just make sure we get the dollar amount that I screwed up right in there? It's 19 cents, not 18 cents. We'll be under the full match.
Good golly.
Yeah, I had it right. We were doing F8 and I screwed up the resolution. 19 cents, not 18.
19 cents. Okay. Do you have any-
$142,525.19.
I got it if we were ready.
What would happen if?
Said moment.
No, they were.
Aha, you're off by
over a penny.
Real?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I wonder if we passed it for a resolution for 20 cents, would it still pass it?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as.
Now, don't take your extra.
Equal or greater.
You can always overbet. I move, oh, sorry, do we need to go?
Go for it.
I move that we approve resolution 2026-17, a resolution authorizing the submission of an application for federal funding through the Transportation Alternatives Program administered by the Wyoming Department of Transportation for the town of Pinedale for the purposes of the Town of Pinedale Pathway Connectivity Phase 2 project with the amendment that in the resolution under the 5th paragraph, the amount be changed to $142,525.19. Do we need to change the percentage math on the other side? That probably is not enough.
No, it's good.
Okay.
And it's been seconded by Councilman Boyce. So moved by Councilman Swafford, seconded by Councilman Boyce to pass resolution 2026-17 with a change of 142,525.19. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And next and final item is our presentation of the bills.
I move to approve the bills for July 13, 2026 in the amount of $386,647.89, paid with checks 32597 through 32649.
Moved by Councilwoman Boyce, seconded by Councilman Swafford. Approve the bills in the amount of $386,647.89. Checks number 32597 through 32649. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, that's a wrap, kids. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
No executive session. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Swafford, second by Councilwoman Boyce to adjourn at 7:18. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're done. Have a nice evening, everybody. Thanks, team.
Yeah.
See you.
I thought we were going to be after 8.